From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Evening Edition.
Live from the CBS studios in San Francisco, I'm Andrea Nakano. It's almost game time, and the whole season has been building up to tomorrow as the 49ers take on the Lions in the NFC title game. Let's get straight to Matt Lively. He's here with a preview.
Yeah, Brock Purdy is gearing up for the most important game of his career on Sunday after playing a season that either gets praised or brutally pummeled by the general public and national media. Purdy gave his critics plenty to talk about in the divisional round. For 3.5 quarters, he stumbled. The ball was wet, and he struggled to grasp it firmly, which was clearly an issue. And it's why the Niners found themselves trailing the Packers and opening the door for plenty of hot takes. But Mr. Irrelevant showed why he has ditched that nickname. The clutch final drive engineered by the second-year QB was the difference maker, and just as they have all season, his teammates came to his defense, downplaying any attempt at Purdy slander.
I think it's kind of like me. You don't really read anything unless your mom sends you it. So, I think Brock's just going to be dialed the way that he has been all season, the last 2 years for us, and people can say whatever they want to say, and he's just going to go out there and be Brock.
We all sitting here because of him, obviously. I love playing football with him, and he's the reason why I'm sitting here today feeling like I have opportunity this weekend.
It just seems like people are quick to forget that Purdy has now led the Niners to a second straight conference title game, and with a win tomorrow, he'd become just the 5th QB in NFL history to win 4 postseason games through their first 2 seasons.
Can't ask for more. Thank you so much, Matt. Well, fans are already pumped up on the eve of the big game. The 49ers are hosting a fan event in the South Bay as we speak. It goes until 8 o'clock tonight. Reporter Da Lin was there, and he also got to see the Lions arriving in San Jose just a couple hours ago. He is live at Mineta International Airport. Da?
Yeah, Andrea, right behind me, that's the plane, the Detroit Lions team plane. It arrived around 4 o'clock, just after 4 o'clock, and the players deplaned and got on their buses, and their fans were cheering them on right behind a fence. As you mentioned, not too far away, the 49ers hosting a fan rally, and there's a lot of enthusiasm and optimism about tomorrow's big game. The music, the energy, and the passion at the 49ers fan rally. The enthusiasm went through the roof when 49ers legend Jerry Rice made a surprise visit to the rally to hype up the fans. People were lining up to take pictures with the GOAT, including Juan Catalan and his son. They drove all the way from LA this morning.
I was just telling Jerry that right now that we met him. I told him he's the reason, him and Joe Montana are the reason that I'm a 49er fan. And now I'm passing on to my son, who I've been since I was 10 years old. I saw my first ever game, Niners, Bengals, Super Bowl 88, 89.
Juan says the opportunity to meet his childhood idol is already a win for him.
I was in shock. He shook my hand. I had never met Jerry Rice, so this is an honor. To me, the GOAT.
Jerry tells us it's fun to interact with the fans. He loves it.
You can feel the energy and, the excitement for tomorrow, and just being able to take some pictures and sign some autographs and just make their day. It's priceless.
As 49ers fans celebrated at the PIX Entertainment Complex on the eve of the big game, Lions players arrived at the airport to get ready for the game. Several Lions fans cheered on the team behind a fence. They flew in earlier this week from Detroit to attend the game.
It was pretty surreal. We've been season ticket holders now for quite some time, and it's pretty surreal to see them coming over here to play for the NFC Championship.
Hopefully we can bring a W back to Detroit, Michigan.
Juan says, yeah, that's not going to happen. He and his family bought tickets for the Sunday game as well.
You're coming into our house. The 49ers, this is our 3rd straight NFC Championship. We are not losing tomorrow at Levi Stadium. We win tomorrow. I think it's going to be by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, very confident win by 2 touchdowns. Now, Juan says he paid $2,100 for 3 tickets. Yeah, with hotel, food, drinks, all of that. He says it's going to be over $3 grand. He says it's all worth it. And if there's a win, and there will be a win according to him, it's priceless. So good things going to happen hopefully tomorrow. Back to you, Andrea.
$3,000. Yikes, that's a lot of money. Thank you so much, Da. And it looks
That's rent money.
It's rent money. Well, almost rent money in the Bay Area. All right, thank you so much, Dal. And it looks like the CHP is already throwing the flag on excessive celebration in San Francisco. They plan to close a number of freeway off-ramps to the Mission District starting Sunday at 7, right around the time the game should be ending. Today is the International Holocaust Day of Remembrance. The United Nations designated January 27th as Remembrance Day as a way to honor the anniversary of when Allied troops liberated the Auschwitz concentration camp. It was one of many such camps set up by Nazi Germany for the purpose of carrying out genocide and forced labor against mainly Jewish people. 6 million Jews were killed between 1933 and 1945. In a statement on Holocaust Remembrance Day, President Biden reflected on the October 7th attack in Israel. He called it the worst atrocity committed against Jewish people since the Holocaust. There are still more than 100 hostages missing and being held by Hamas from October 7th. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said today Israel will continue to achieve all the goals of the war. Meanwhile, in Gaza, thousands of Palestinians were forced to flee the southern city of Khan Yunis as fighting between Hamas militants and Israeli forces intensified. Many buildings in the city have been turned to rubble since the conflict began, and these families are now traveling westward, leaving Gaza's second largest city. Turning to the American presidential election, Vice President Kamala Harris is campaigning for Mr. Biden in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, Nikki Haley in South Carolina trying to salvage her long shot bid for the Republican nomination. Republican front-runner Donald Trump is hosting a rally in Nevada just one day after he was in a Manhattan courtroom in order to pay an $80 million settlement. Nevada's caucus is coming up on February 8th. The first Boeing 737 MAX 9 returned to the skies on Friday, just weeks after a door plug blew out of an Alaska Airlines flight mid-flight. Yesterday's flight took off from Seattle and landed in San Diego. Alaska Airlines Chief Operating Officer sat next to the door plug on the flight and says she has full confidence in the aircraft. The FAA had grounded all MAX 9s in the U.S. following the incident with the door plug, but earlier this week, they cleared the way for the MAX 9 to continue flying once they met certain inspection criteria. Lions fans are arriving in the Bay Area. We caught up with some of them at SFO on Friday. They weren't exactly that hard to spot. They told us they're excited to be here and that their confidence in their team is high. And back in Michigan, General Motors authorized a shift delay for some 1,500 auto workers so they can watch Motor City's team play the 49ers. The auto industry isn't just a point of pride for those living there and working in it, but for the team itself.
You know, it's not the first thing you think of if you go to LA or just in general, right? You got the sun, you got the beach, you got plenty of other things going on. And here, man, it's harsh winters, right? Auto industry. Blue collar, things aren't always easy.
Lions coach Dan Campbell touted his team's appeal to the masses. People have praised the Lions' grit and toughness. The once troubled franchise and the auto industry, Detroit in general, have both known tough times. Sunday will be a homecoming for Detroit's Lions quarterback, Jared Goff. He had this message today for his fellow Cal Bears.
Hey Cal fans, Jared Goff here. Looking forward to coming back to the Bay this weekend. Go Bears.
Goff is a Novato native, and he graduated from Marin Catholic High School in 2013. Earlier this week, we visited the school where his name and picture are just about everywhere. Some teachers and current students told us while they are 49er fans, they also can't help but root on Jared Goff. Well, fans at the game on Sunday will hear a familiar sound at halftime. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Legendary Bay Area rock band Journey will perform at halftime at Levi Stadium, and we should point out that there is a reference to South Detroit in that song, Don't Stop Believin'. Journey just celebrated its 50th anniversary. And before kickoff, there will be a pregame performance from Nate Smith, and the national anthem is in the hands of Luis Fonsi. And it's not too late. If you want to go to tomorrow's game, there are still tickets available on Ticketmaster. Even the nosebleeds are going for $500. And those same tickets were just about half that a week ago. Lower level seats are starting at only $750. The NFC Championship caps off a busy 6 months for the city of Santa Clara, and Levi Stadium has started in July with Taylor Swift's Era Tour, then Latina superstar Karol G in August. She was the first Latin artist to sell out the stadium. Beyonce stopped by in September as part of her Renaissance World Tour, and singer Ed Sheeran broke attendance records at Levi Stadium in mid-September. In the North Bay, all 7 reservoirs managed by the Marin Municipal Water District have reached 100% capacity. According to the Marin Independent Journal, recent storms have dropped nearly 8 inches of rain into Lake Lagunitas. The district rainfall is at nearly 34 inches. The start of the water year is October 1st, and at that time, district reservoirs were about 86%. The North Bay has taken more rainfall than other areas. South Bay reservoirs, for instance, are below capacity, but Valley Water is pleased this year is unusually average.
Really, a normal year is when we have flooding or we have drought. I mean, that seems to be what happens is we have these extreme weather events that happen during our winter months, and then, of course, the droughts during our summer months.
Keller says next week's storms are expected to really bolster the Santa Clara reservoirs, but he's also keeping a close eye on the snowpack in the Sierra. The runoff makes up a lot of the water supply. A harrowing experience at a Lake Tahoe resort where a woman was trapped in a gondola suspended in the air for 15 hours in freezing temperatures. Monica Lasso told KCRA she got on the lift around 5 o'clock Thursday. She was too tired to snowboard down. The gondola suddenly stopped after a couple of minutes and she was stranded without her phone. Lasso says she tried screaming at every employee below, but to no avail. She spent the night rubbing her hands and feet as temperatures dipped to 23 degrees. And in the morning, the lift started back up and she was saved. Luckily, she's okay, but Heavenly Mountain Resort is investigating how they let that happen. And finally, tonight, we're leaving you with a poetic tribute to the 49ers and their fans, written by our newest reporter, Laureen Ayub. We'll see you back here at 11. Good night.
Super Bowl 58. Fate can no longer wait. For the Niners, not a second too late. See, this is a predictory of our collective victory, reclaiming San Francisco's golden history. Because we're not just playing for survival. This is an SF revival. See, even when it gets dark, we always find a way to a fresh start. Because every Niner touchdown is a major come-up for the city. And no, we're not just playing pretty. See, perseverance built the Bay. And it's the faithful who lead the way. Because if our bridges are golden, then our hearts are too. Timeless landmarks and a team fighting for you, a city lighting for you. See, we're not just playing for survival. This is an SF revival.